It was midnight, and everything was quiet in Zenith, one of the most luxurious districts of Neon City. Detective Raven was about to finish his shift at the precinct when the phone rang. The caller was a wealthy businessman named Victor Sterling. He reported a burglar in his home and urgently requested assistance. Raven quickly got into his hover car and sped towards Victor Sterling's luxurious penthouse at the top of a high-rise building. When Raven arrived at the penthouse, he was met by Victor's anxious face at the door. A security alarm next to the door was flashing incessantly. Inside, the place was in disarray, yet nothing of value seemed to be missing. On the bedroom wall, a note had been scratched. "The secret will be revealed." Raven scrutinized the note. The letters appeared to have been carved with an old steel knife. Beneath the note were strange symbols and drawings. They seemed familiar, but he couldn't immediately decipher them. Raven questioned Victor. The mention of Adrian Black, Victor's former partner who had died 20 years ago, made Victor visibly uncomfortable. "Let's not talk about that," Victor said coldly. "That's in the past." But Raven was certain Victor was hiding something. The next morning, Raven began investigating what the key he found might unlock. The key bore the logo of Nova Bank, an old and defunct bank. Raven discovered that the bank's records had been transferred to another institution. When Raven arrived at the facility where Nova Bank's records were kept, he met an old archivist. The archivist recognized the key immediately. "This is for a very old vault," he said. "It might belong to Adrian Black." When they opened the vault, the documents inside shocked Raven. They revealed that Adrian had been swindled and threatened by Victor. Among the documents were letters Adrian had written shortly before his death, indicating that his death might not have been a suicide, but rather a murder. As Raven delved deeper into the documents, he discovered that Adrian had used a secret message system before his death. These messages were encrypted with a holographic code. Raven sought help from an old friend, Luna, one of Neon City's best hackers and an expert in cracking holographic codes. Luna quickly decrypted the messages. Adrian had discovered Victor's plan to kill him and had documented everything in these messages. The messages also mentioned a friend who sought revenge, Elias Kane. Raven returned to Victor's penthouse with the evidence he had gathered. When Victor saw the documents, he confessed everything. He hadn't killed Adrian, but had driven him to financial ruin and threatened him. He thought Adrian had committed suicide, but Elias Kane had been seeking revenge all along. Elias Kane, upon learning that Raven was on his trail, recorded Victor's confession and handed it over to the police. This evidence led to Victor being sentenced to a long prison term for his role in Adrian's death and other crimes. Elias Kane had been planning Adrian's revenge for a long time. As he investigated Adrian's death, he realized Victor was just a pawn. The real culprits were a larger organization behind Victor. This organization was behind many secret operations in Neon City, with Victor being only one of their many faces. With Elias's help, Raven began tracking this organization. Elias had infiltrated the organization and gathered significant information. Using this intel, they identified the leader of the organization, Lazarus. Lazarus was the power behind Neon City's dark side, covering up many crimes. When Raven and Elias reached Lazarus's hideout, a fierce battle ensued. Lazarus's men tried to stop them, but the duo was determined. After a long and grueling fight, Lazarus's face was revealed. Lazarus was actually Alistair Crowe, one of Neon City's most renowned businessmen. Crowe had manipulated Victor to carry out all his plans. He was responsible for Adrian's death. Crowe was handed over to the police and received a long prison sentence. Raven and Elias, satisfied with bringing justice to Neon City, continued their paths. And so, the secrets hidden in the shadows were revealed. Justice was once again served. Neon City found peace, if only for a short while. But Raven knew that darkness could return at any time. A new day would bring new mysteries,